name is Al Segalla, and welcome to our Taxpayer Alert. This program is designed to bring you up to date on what's happening within government and around that, and sometimes other things besides government. And we're so pleased this time to have Lieutenant Greg Stark as our guest. Welcome, Greg.
Pleasure to be here.
And we're going to be talking about several things and something new that nobody knows about yet, but we'll find out. I guess one of the first items that, well, let's talk a little bit about you. How long have you been in the department?
29 years. 29.
29 years?
Yeah, 29 years. October 31st will be 30.
You must have started when you were 3.
I was close.
I said, well, gee whiz. I didn't know you were here so long.
Yeah, I've been here for a little while.
You're getting used to it.
Yeah, I like it, so I stayed.
Well, one of the things that the sheriff department does is they help with neighborhood watch, and this is where individual neighbors can get together and help reduce crime.
Absolutely.
And how does that work?
So Neighborhood Watch is a program, it's a national program that's facilitated by the Sheriff's Office, and it's basically an information sharing from citizens that live in a neighborhood or a small community that funnels up through our resident deputy program and our resident sergeants through the Sheriff's Office, and that allows us to push information down to a specific area. Generally, it's comprised of block captains, and the block captains can range from anywhere from 2 to 20 people underneath their umbrella. And the information goes up to the block captains communicate with the resident deputies, and vice versa. And it's just a really good way to push out information where we could say, hey, for instance, we're looking for a certain type of car, or be aware that there's certain type of mail thefts going on right now. We can target a specific area with information that's relevant to their quality of life issues that they have. And then the block captains kind of coordinate things amongst themselves with the neighbors. For instance, I might be going on vacation for a little while, so I'll tell the block captain, hey, I'm going to vacation, can you keep an eye on my house? And by the way, there's a blue Ford Explorer coming to water my plants, don't call the cops on them. Anybody else, let us know. And then, you can kind of vet that information.
Would the members of the Neighborhood Watch have an email communication with each other?
There's various ways. They typically do an email group. It's very popular these days. There's an app on the phone that you can have a group chat, or I think very popular WhatsApp. People can, hey, does anybody know this car? It's got Florida plates. It's been hanging around, and then somebody will pop on. Oh, that's my cousin. They're in town for a few days, and let people know what's going on. Another service that they can provide is maybe picking up packages. Like, I'm going to be gone, or I'm expecting a UPS or Amazon package. The block captain can pick it up and take it until somebody comes home. That way they don't lose it. It's a really good way to, we've kind of lost the knowing your neighbor and people being outside and the barbecue block parties. It's a good way to start interacting with people and finding out who's who in the neighborhood. And everybody notices the typical ebb and flow of cars, traffics, and things like that. And I mean, who would know better than people in the neighborhood what's out of place or something with a nexus to some type of criminal behavior? Neighborhood Watch is, to put it plainly, they're the eyes and ears of the Sheriff's Office.
Right.
They see everything. We just want to know about it, and it's a good partnership.
You have, I think, retired people that volunteer to serve in areas.
Yeah, they help us with our extra patrols. Let's say the block captain notices an increase in a certain type of crime. We can tell our volunteers and our deputies, and we can do drive-throughs of the area just to make sure that criminals don't want to be found out. So if we're driving around, they're not going to be.
Right.
So the increased presence will help reduce crime. And if we don't know that, we don't know where to go to patrol. And volunteers also have a program they call a vacation house check. Let's say you go on vacation and you're going to Italy for 2 weeks. You can fill out a form online. The volunteers will go drive by specifically your house all hours of the day, make sure that nobody's there. Again, the presence and specifically checking your house. So if they do see a car, let's say all the neighbors are at work and they drive by and see a car, they'll call us and we'll go take action.
Now, if somebody wanted to be part of Neighborhood Watch, what would they do?
Simply call the office and ask them to talk to the Neighborhood Watch Coordinator. Currently, that's my assignment. We would come out, we'd set up a community meeting. We'd have a wide community meeting with all the neighborhoods involved. And then the second step, we would have you guys, or have the neighborhoods get block captains. And once the block captains are established, we go back and have a more intimate meeting where we talk about home security systems, motion lights, interior motion lights, alarm systems, and kind of do a, not necessarily inspection, but an overall, evaluation of how safe the home is, make some suggestions, formalize the group, and then that's when we start sharing the information, put up some neighborhood watch signs, and the program's off and running.
All right. So, is there a website that they can go to yet?
There's a national website, neighborhoodwatch.com, and they have everything. They have starter packets of how to start a neighborhood watch, how to start the conversation with your neighbor, a simple template of what to say. You can call us, we have a starter pack, but the easiest way is just start the conversation. Either go on, get some information, call us, get some information. We'd love to go down and, the more times we can interact with people on a neighborhood watch basis, it's proven that crime is reduced, and when crime is reduced,
You're safer, yeah.
you're safer, and we can go tackle other crimes, do more long-term investigations, if we're not constantly dealing with, quality of life, vandalism, stuff like that. If we can clean that up, we can really dig down onto some of the really tough crimes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now that's neighborhoodwatch.com?
Yes, I believe so. I'm not sure it's .com or .org, but if you type in Neighborhood Watch, the national website will pop up on any search engine that you use.
Okay, Neighborhood Watch, and that'll get you started. And then the next step would be to call Lieutenant Stark at phone number?
You can call my desk line at 754-6783.
754
6783.
6783.
Correct.
All right, you write that down?
And either myself or one of the resident deputies will come out. Hopefully the resident deputies can come with me or handle the meeting themselves so they can start that relationship immediately.
All right, that's good. So now there's another thing that we're kind of interested in. What kind of trends do we have in crime in our county?
So right now, we've had a slight uptick in some violent crimes in certain parts of the county. But overall, Calaveras ranks at the bottom per capita for crimes per capita. So overall, it's a very, very safe county. There are a little bit of upticks. As soon as the weather starts getting warm, people come out more. We're anticipating, we have deputies right now down with the Department of Boating Waterways. We have instructors embedded in our office that are teaching other officers how to be boat operators. They're going to bring that knowledge back and patrol the lakes. So we have lake patrols. So it's gonna get warm. I know it's kind of cold right now, but it's gonna get warm. We're gonna get increased traffic, and the water safety messaging will be coming out soon. So those would be some crime trends that we would probably see coming up, upticks with that.
I think in Lake Tulloch and maybe New Maloney's, there's Tuolumne County also involved in boating safety.
Correct. Yeah, we share the lakes. Any lake we share boundaries with, Comanche, we share with Amador, Tuolumne, and we work closely with them. So instead of putting Tuolumne and Calaveras on Tulloch at the same time, they talk. Our boating operators talk, say, hey, we'll go there in the morning, you go to Maloney's,
right,
and then tomorrow we switch up, or if you're going to go early, we go late. It's just a way to work smarter and stretch that county dollar just that much further. We don't need 4 boats on one lake, but if we can spread them out a little bit, it sure makes it a lot nicer and a lot safer for everybody.
Yeah, and the taxpayers like that too.
Yeah, our sergeants and lieutenants and captains talk very well from county to county.
All right. I think in Lake Tulloch we have a boat launch. We used to have a public boat launch. I'm not sure if we do now or not.
It's been a while since I've been down there. I know there was one. There's one on the Tuolumne side for sure.
Yeah.
And there's a couple owned by the HOAs down there.
Yeah.
And there's one, I take that back, I believe there's a public one right by Drifters, right by the marina right there. I'm pretty sure that's public still.
All right.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it's public.
Well, I live in Copper Cove, so I know we have a boat launch there,
Mm-hmm.
and we have little stickers for our boats.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the crime trends, what do you see for the future?
Well, for the future, hopefully, we are getting some more deputies. We just have 6 deputies on the program. I shouldn't say just. We have 6 deputies on the training program right now. And we have 2 more in the existing academy, and we're looking to put 4 more in the next academy. So as soon as these 6 get off the training program, we're looking to put more deputies on the street per shift, which will allow them more, I don't want to call it routine patrol, because there's nothing routine about patrol, but it'll give them more time to look for and combat crime, do longer investigations like I mentioned earlier, and be more proactive and switch from reactive. Instead of going to the crime after it happens, we want to go there before it happens, maybe make some car stops, maybe take some people to jail, finding the drugs, finding the stolen property, and being more present so we can stop the crime before it happens. That's our goal.
What about turnover? Is there a problem with turnover? They come to our county, get trained, and then go to someplace else where they get more money. Is that true?
So when we first came to the county in 1977, since then, it's always been a training ground. That's been a very hard problem for us to crack.
Right.
Recently, the Board of Supervisors and Sheriff DiBasilio worked together within the footprint of the existing budget of the Sheriff's Office and put forth a pretty good benefit package for the deputies. So far, knock on wood, since that time, nobody's left. Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, majority of our deputies are happy, but we haven't lost anybody so far. And it made us more attractive to new deputies. So that's how we've got the 2 in the academy right now, and we're getting more for the next academy. So we have a very robust recruiting system, but we're inching up to being full. In my 29 years, we were full for about 3 weeks once. And so
in 29 years?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see the progress that's made.
Yeah.
Very optimistic for the future.
That's good. Now, is there some programs for recognition for excellence in law enforcement?
So we have an internal review board. So sergeants, if a deputy does something extraordinary, there's several awards that are available. He or she submits a written proposal to the awards committee. The awards committee reviews it. And there's some strict guidelines. We want to make sure that these ribbons mean something, and there's actually some meat behind what they did. And then we have an annual award ceremony. I think it's coming up April 18th. We hold it down in the Veterans Hall, and we honor the deputies that get the awards, and then they get a ribbon. And when you see them wearing their Class A with the tie and the court attire, they can put their ribbons on, and it kind of showcases what they've done. Right now, off the top of my head, we have about 2 or 3 life-saving awards that we're very proud that we're going to be issuing on the 18th.
Is there any kind of Christmas bonus?
The only Christmas bonus our deputies get is working Christmas Eve on graveyard. That's I guess the bonus would be if you happen to have days off that day.
Okay. Now, this is really good news for the taxpayer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to. If we can keep the deputies, it's really important to understand that. Yes, there's the initial cost of training a deputy, and there's the initial cost of sending them to the academy. But there's also, when we're losing deputies with, SWAT deputies that have been in detectives, and all the training that goes with that, they go down to Lodi or Stockton, they love it. The Stockton gets somebody that's got $100,000 worth of training, plug and play, thank you very much. And while that's important, the numbers are important, losing people upwards of $100,000. The institutional knowledge that they take with them, the working crime on the streets and patrol, there's an intimacy there that you just can't walk in and off the street. I mean, you have to build relationships with the people you work with. You have to build relationship with the citizens. You don't know me from Adam, so you don't know if you tell me something, if I'm going to keep my mouth shut where it came from. There's knowing who the persons that are committing crimes are, who they hang out with, what cars they drive, where they live, where they hang out with, who doesn't like who used to date who, and whose house they're hiding out at. So you get a deputy at 5 years on, you have 5 years of Calaveras history, right, and Calaveras experience, which is invaluable. When you say, we're looking for Al Segalla. Well, I know Al drives this car and he hangs out here, so let's go check out. And if he's not there, he's going to be at so-and-so's house. And, nothing against new deputies, they just don't know that yet, and you can't teach that unless they've actually gone through that. So the money to the taxpayers is huge. but the institutional knowledge is absolutely invaluable. That's where we as a department really suffer. When you have quality deputies that want to do the right thing, they just don't have every tool because they haven't been through it yet. And once you hit the maybe 3 to 4 year mark, you really start getting your stride, and you really start understanding how to, I don't want to use baseball terms, but how to play the game.
Yeah.
In the ninth inning, and you're getting your feel, then they go. But right now, we haven't had that, and knock on wood, thank you Board of Supervisors and Sheriff, we're doing really well.
All right. One of the things that a lot of people are concerned about is how to defend themselves. And shooting somebody that's trying to break in your house can cause a lot of problems with the courts and proving that the person was really a danger and heaven knows what, because the attorneys really make a fortune with that. So non-lethal protection seems to be a better way to go.
So I would say better way to go, but
For self-defense.
For self-defense, but I'm a firm believer you want as many tools in your toolbox for self-defense as you can.
Yeah.
And the first rule of self-defense is don't make yourself a target.
Right.
So when you say breaking into your home, making sure you have that alarm system where you can hit the panic button without getting out of bed or it's close. Making sure you have quality deadbolts. That's the first line of self-defense. Or if you're at the gas station and somebody's approaching you in a hostile manner, you don't have to fist fight them. You can give that time and distance and back up and disengage.
Right.
I always ask people, when you walk into a gas station, do you look inside before you go in?
No.
So maybe just taking that situational awareness, 2 seconds to look inside to make sure they're not getting robbed, or make sure you walk outside your car, you take that 2 seconds, just a little bit of situational awareness is the first line of self-defense.
Right.
And then you would graduate to maybe having some pepper spray. Our deputies carry pepper spray, our deputies carry tasers, and our deputies, majority or some of the supervisors have what we call the sponge round, the less lethal or non-lethal impact rounds. We have those that are available. The last thing a deputy wants to do is fire his weapon in the line of duty, and having more tools on the tool belt is the key to not doing that, not having to take that shot.
Right.
But we also back it up all the way down to de-escalation. If somebody's having a mental crisis, we give them that time and space where they can calm down, and they make, once they calm down a little bit, they can make a better decision.
Yeah.
I know I've made no good decisions while I was mad.
Right.
So if you give me time to calm down, and I can actually think through the consequence of my actions rather than, there he is, get him, it gives us that distance. And then the pepper spray, it shoots quite far.
Yeah.
The taser shoots, 20 feet. The 40 millimeter, the sponge round shoots, much further than that. So just that distance where if you're not next to me, you can't stab me, you can't punch me, you can't whatever.
Right.
So make sure, the distance. And for self-defense, situational awareness, a little bit of, I don't want to say common sense because that's not so common, but making sure that, you don't put yourself in a situation where, you're going to have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to fight you, just walk away. If he starts approaching you or she starts approaching you, continue to try to give that distance, but also be prepared to have, some type of response.
Yeah. Actually, if they're in a vehicle and you run away, they don't want to run too far away from their vehicle.
So no, every situation is dependent on circumstances, right?
Yeah.
So if they're near your vehicle when you walk out of the store and there's somebody that's clearly having an issue, mental issue, or they're intoxicated,
Yeah.
Maybe stay in the store and say, can you call the cops? Call
Yeah.
911.
Right.
Or vice versa. If you're in your car, it's very dependent on where you're at.
Right.
But if you can get in your car and go, hammer down.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that a person that was going to harm you and was driving in their own vehicle, they don't want to go too far away from their vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So that if you got more space away from their vehicle, you might have a little bit of security there.
Yeah, every situation is dependent, and you're going to have to make those snap decisions.
Right.
And that's why it boils down to situational awareness. And what would I do if I walked in here? What would I do? What would I do? And not, I don't mean situational awareness to the level of paranoia and you're always looking around, but just situational awareness. So the first time something happens isn't the first time you think about it. So the first time, you know, you look in the gas station and there's a robbery going on, or there's some people in there fighting, that's not the first time you've ever thought about that scenario. You know, you've actually played it through your mind a couple times, and just reducing that decision-making to action lag could give you 2 or 3 seconds. That could be the 2 or 3 seconds that get you away, let you turn the corner before somebody sees you. So, you know, that it all boils down to just, you know, not waiting for it to happen, just be ready when it does. To quote Sean Connery in The Untouchables, you know, don't wait for it to happen, don't want it to happen, just react when it does.
One of the things that our taxpayer group is interested in is promoting the Constitution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got copies to all the deputies in the county.
And thank you.
And what is really most interesting, in the 5th and 14th Amendment, the Constitution not only defines what the nature of human rights is and are, but also the purpose of government.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 5th Amendment and in the 14th Amendment, it's spelled out: life, liberty, and property. And then again. And so what this means, that the fundamental purpose of government is to protect the rights to life, liberty, and property.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's kept in mind with people in public office, they will be careful in land use decisions, and also in regulation. Just how far do you draw the line between protecting the neighbor and oppressing their rights?
Right.
And so this is one of the things that we hope to continue to do, and hopefully every voter in the county at some point will have a copy of this and be aware of those basic rights.
That'd be awesome. I know every deputy that, you know, in America swears an oath to the Constitution, to,
Right.
you know, both foreign and domestic, and, you know, we deal with the, you know, search and seizure laws and the Constitution quite often. The Miranda rights come, you know, directly out of there.
Yeah.
So we deal with them every day, working hand in hand with the district attorney's office, making sure that, you know, when we write a search warrant, you know, it's above reproach and it can't be overruled.
Right.
And there's many checks and balances to go through just to make sure that the Constitution, people's rights aren't trampled.
Now, we have a thing called a lifesaver. And
So this is our newest search and rescue preventative. It is not for catching ghosts. That's the first thing everybody always asks is, why do you have a Ghostbusters ghost finder? We do not. So our office, the sheriff and Captain Sturm, noticed that we had an uptick in Alzheimer's patient search and rescues. And not only Alzheimer's, but persons with cognitive disabilities, you know, Alzheimer's, maybe Down syndrome, things of that nature. And we went on a search to find a product that we could help the public with. We came up with a company called Project Lifesaver. It's a radio frequency device. This is the receiver and this is the transmitter. And what happens is the person who may have a cognitive disability or lesson of, they wear this on their wrist. It comes in multiple color wristbands, and they wear this. And if they go walking, their caregiver, family member, or if they don't come back, or if they wander off, they can call us, and we can deploy these in the field and go out and find them much quicker than, you know, if you take an average person walking 3 miles an hour, in one hour that's 3 miles. So that's a 360-degree 3-mile circle.
right.
And the next one it's 6, and the next, so that's a long, you know, that's a lot of area to cover when you don't know where somebody's at.
You could drive around with that.
Well, we also have a roof-mounted antenna that shoots out even further, so we can capture that, so we can try and start triangulating and communicate over the radio. I got some hits here, I got some hits there, and we can work it down to a general area out of that 12-mile radius, and then put our search and rescue teams, direct the helicopter to direct the dogs,
Yeah.
while still using this. So each one of these has a specific radio frequency. This one's 216.325, so if you put that there, and I turn this on, my volume. So if you can hear it, it's kind of quiet as I point that way. The signal gets stronger as I'm, so imagine if this is, you know, half a mile that way, it's on the closest setting, obviously, but if it's on the furthest setting where it's reaching out further,
Yeah.
you can point it and say, oh, we don't need to go this way, we need to go that way.
Huh.
And that reduces search time, and the nice part about reducing search time, it reduced the cost of search time.
Oh, yeah. You could make a difference in life and death.
Life and death, helicopter times is extremely expensive, and it could be a difference between life and death, or, a $200 search or a $2 million search.
Does this device have some button?
Nope, it's on all the time, 100% of the time. You change the battery every 60 days. It emits for about a mile. With the car mount, it's a little bit further than that. You change the battery every 60 days.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
It's a little watch battery for about 98 cents off of Amazon.
That's really good. So look at, to summarize, we talked about neighborhood watch.
Yep.
And we got a picture of the crime trends in our county, and apparently we're looking pretty good compared to other counties. Is that correct?
Absolutely, we're at the lowest per capita, or one of the lowest per capita, I should say.
Yeah. And then we talked about non-lethal self-protection,
Mm-hmm.
which includes pepper spray pens,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's a little watch fob you can get for pepper spray,
Mm-hmm.
and they go for maybe 12 feet or more.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about the Constitution, about what really are our rights,
Right.
and what is the purpose of government. That's a lot to cover. So we're coming towards the end of our program now, and I want to thank you for watching, and we hope you'll catch our next program, and good night.